What's up guys, welcome back to Aquatic Elements. My name is Chris and on this channel we create aquatic based content, be that visiting hobbyists' home aquariums or visiting fish shops and doing shop tours. Now in today's video I'm going to be doing I would say a back to basics series. We're going to be talking all about the Asian Arowana, and as you can see right next to me here I have Violet, my Violet Fusion Super Red Arowana, who is around 22 inches and she's got to be my favourite fish that I currently own. Now in today's video I've compiled a massive episode full of loads of different content all the way from Thailand that I took myself, visiting the Chuk market, and also a stingray breeder as well with some Asian Arowanas, and lots of different hobbyists that we've actually visited that own Asian Arowanas. And in today's video we're going to be talking about the ailments that these fish have, maybe some of the different problems that they can get, also diet, and just a little bit more about them. It's going to be like a care guide, but a little bit more tailored to how I found keeping Arowana and some things that I've learned along the way. So let's get right into it. Now, throughout this video, we're going to be talking about the original location of the Asian Arowana. We're also going to be talking about diet, care, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, some potential problems that these fish get. Now, the first video is actually my second ever Asian Arowana I've owned, and that is a Malaysian Gold. The first one I ever owned was a RTG, otherwise known as a red-tail gold. Now, we are actually going to be seeing this exact fish a little bit later on in the video, where it actually went to Spud, the owner of Aquatics, and we're going to be seeing it develop and get a little bit older. Here's an absolutely beautiful RTG Arowana that I got to visit on one of our tank tours. Now, all of the footage in this video was taken by me, and it is covered in many different videos throughout the channel. Here is where I actually was collecting Violet, my Violet Fusion Super Red Arowana from Maidenhead Aquatics Farnham. Now, the Asian Arowana is native to Southeast Asia, and there's a lot of different areas it comes from. First of all, mainly I would say Indonesia, from the Kalimantan and Borneo and Sumatra area. It also comes from Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam and Myanmar as well. Now, the green Arowana was found in Borneo. The silver and red-tail gold is native to Sumatra, and not to be confused with the normal silver, which is found in South America. And the super red is found in Kalimantan in Borneo, and the golden Arowana is found from Bukit Merah in Malaysia. Now, when these Arowanas are out in their natural habitat, they are originally from blackwater rivers and swamps, areas which are rich in tannins from decaying leaf litter, and they sit at around the 26 to 30 degree temperature range, often in acidic water with pH levels between 5 to 7 and sometimes on the upper end of that limit. Now, the waters are normally poor in nutrients but really rich in organic matter, and these rivers are often really rich in colour with a sort of dark tea-stained look, which is from all the tannins and the tannic acid produced by all of the leaf litter and detritus. They also live in flooded forests, and they hunt and live throughout submerged tree roots. So that sort of gives you a rough idea on what their habitat would look like in the wild. Now, obviously, all of the Arowana that we own are either F2s or F3s and onwards, etc., which means they are the second filial generation. So they've actually been bred in captivity, and it is illegal to remove these fish from the wild. Now we're going to move on to genetics and their coloration. So there's many different colors, and you're going to see them throughout these videos. We've got videos, as you can see here, from a monster tropical fish pond I did, and many different hobbyists, and we're also going to be visiting the Thailand suppliers as well and looking at some of their amazing fish that they've got. So you've got the super red from Indonesia, the golden crossback from Malaysia, the red-tailed gold from Indonesia, the green from Thailand and Malaysia, and also the blue base. And there is a really stunning blue base that's going to come up towards the end of the video, which is probably my top 3 Arowana I've ever seen in person. Now, they get their colour through chromatophores. Now, you get chromatophores in all different types of fish. The melanophores are that sort of black or brown colour, which is also known as melanin. You've got the xanthophores, which are a yellow pigment, ethrophores, which are the red pigment, and there are a few others that they have as well. Now, you can enhance the coloration with diet, and supposedly you can with tanning as well. Really high levels of UV radiation can alter and change the way the scales look and appear, similar to humans with sort of tanning beds and sitting out in the sun. Now, to increase the coloration or to help with the coloration, you can do that through diet and add an astaxanthin and beta-carotene into the diet, which helps improve the red coloration. Now, you can get beta-carotene from shrimps and krill, and these rich carotenoids really help to increase that red and the colour in the golden crossbacks as well. Now, here you can actually see one of Spud's grout tanks. Well, it's just come off the screen now, but that was actually my second Arowana that we saw right at the beginning of the video, and it's around the 14-inch mark, and it started in my tank around the 6 or 7-inch mark. Now, increasing the lighting, you will see some tanning lights throughout this video, probably towards the end of the video, which is a full spectrum color, really focusing on these sort of red LEDs, which help to enhance that color. However, personally, I feel like the intense lighting and the tanning lights can cause a little bit of stress and really expose these fish to a high level of UV radiation. However, it is proven that it does improve their colours. So, coming off of the colours and the inclusion of those beta-carotene and carotenoids in the diet, we'll start to move on to the actual diet and what I would recommend feeding your Asian Arowana. Now, you want to avoid high-fat items, and you want to get a good high-protein diet. So, you can use different items such as prawns and mussels, although mussels are definitely towards the fatty end, so I would avoid using them too much. Using maybe earthworms, crickets and insects are really good. They have high levels of chitin, which helps the digestion system, and it's really good to feed them and gut load them with veggies first. As I mentioned, prawns and mussels. Now, if you are feeding shell on prawns, they do have high level of calcium, but they may be a little bit difficult to digest. And also in the wild, they do eat frogs, tadpoles and snails. But obviously that depends on the ethical and legality area of where you are in the world, so I would check that up first. And I personally don't really like to feed any live fish. It is good for them and it does promote those natural instincts, but there's the ethical side to it as well. Frozen bloodworms when the fish are small. Beef heart is good as well. Silver sides or fish fillet. I really like using bassa fillet. It's very low in fat and high in protein, and it's a little bit more of a cleaner food. And obviously, if you can get them onto pellets like Hikari or Norfin or Tetra Hikari foods, they are really, really good for them, and they do have that nice full nutrient balance. So finally, we're going to move on to maybe some of the ailments and issues that these fish can have. And you probably would have noticed, if you do keep Arowana or do have an eagle eye, that my fish has a slight bit of drop eye in the left eye, and it's also got that gill curl. But this is what it had when I purchased it, and I was fully aware that this was going to be a problem. However, these problems are generally cosmetic and they're not really going to cause that much long-term effects to your fish. Obviously, having a high level of fatty deposits behind the eyes, which leads to the drop eye, isn't good for the fish, and having gill curl isn't too good as well. But you can see we're moving on to some of the Thailand expedition I did, some of the Thailand shops and some of the sellers in Thailand, which had some super high quality reds, golds, golden crossbacks, and the many different varieties there. Now, onto drop eye. A lot of people say this is from the fish looking down at their tank mates and eating food off of the bottom. However, I completely disagree. In my opinion, it's down to a fat accumulation behind the eye, which is down to diet and genetics. I would be incredibly surprised if it's caused by looking down at the floor or eating off of the floor, and I would say it's definitely down to the genetic factor, which you generally find a high level of drop eye in the American silver arowana, the South American silver arowana, and it's mainly just down to diet. They can also get PLJ, which is protruding lower jaw. This is also, I would say, a genetic factor. It can be caused by injury and trauma if you do feed live feeds and improper diet as well. And it can sometimes be developed where the bones haven't developed properly, or it gets a sort of growth spurt and that jaw sticks out, which is just another cosmetic issue that they can have. And then finally, gill curl, which is what Violet has, which is my Violet Fusion Super Red Arowana, which you would have seen at the beginning of the video. Very similar to some of these Super Reds that you can see. And the gill curl is generally caused by poor water quality, high levels of high temperature and low oxygen, overcrowding, or being kept in a small tank. Now, she was kept in a 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, which I think was why she got the gill curl. It can be genetics as well, inherited through some certain bloodlines, but I would say it's generally down to a small aquarium. Now, this is the amazing blue base crossback that I saw, just came off the screen there. One of my favorite fish that I saw in Thailand, and my favorite fish that I've actually seen. You can see some of the Super King and the King arowanas with the super high back above the head as well. Now, these clips were all taken in the Chuck market, and all of the fish here were really healthy looking, even though they were in very small tanks. As you can see, they were very healthy looking, and they had a lot of attention paid to them. You can see they're also kept in bare tanks. I would personally say, if you're going to keep an Asian arowana, a minimum of an 8 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot is what I would recommend. But if you can, an 8 foot by 3 foot by 2 foot is going to be a good home for life, and obviously anything bigger than that is only going to be better. We've got a Scleropages inscriptus, which is the Batik Arowana on screen now. An absolutely stunning fish, and just the scale pattern is absolutely phenomenal. But that takes us to the end of all of the clips I've collated over the past few years of different Asian arowanas, from your blue bases to your crossbacks, your super high backs, your RTGs, your Banjar Reds, your Violet Fusions. There are so many, and I really enjoyed actually watching these clips back and seeing the amazing fish that I've recorded over my time. And that is it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was really awesome to see the different videos that I've taken over the years of many different Asian arowana I've seen, and they are definitely one of my favorite fish. An absolutely majestic dragon of the water, and they can get up to some really big sizes and some beautiful colors, as you would have seen on the video. Now, that is it for today's episode. We are doing another road trip very soon. We're actually heading down to the southeast of the United Kingdom, and we're going to be visiting some hobbyists and also a lot of different shops. Now, if you do have any suggestions, or maybe you are even a hobbyist that is based down in the southeast and would love to have your tank or your fish room or your koi pond featured on the channel, then please shoot me a DM on Instagram or leave a little comment at the bottom of this video. But that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.